Thanks for joining us today on Ohio Classics. I'm your host, Laurel Quillen. Joining me today is Dave Blazer. Thanks for having us come over.
You're welcome.
I talked him into it. I ran into him at a parts store, and I said, wow, what a great vehicle. You have to be on the show with us. And he said, I don't know, it's not quite ready. But as you know, with our car projects, they're never quite done. So if you wait for something like this until they're done, it's never going to happen. It's always a work in progress. So Dave, tell us about the car behind us.
All right, it's a 1967 Chevy Malibu wagon. It's been customized. The back windows have been taken out of it and rolled sheet metal over it to make it like a sedan delivery wagon, but it's not. It's actually just a wagon that's got, like I said, rolled sheet metal over it, and it's just a custom wagon. It's got a 327 engine with a power glide. It's all original, other than the fact that, like I said, it's a custom wagon.
And that's all we know.
Not much to say otherwise. I mean,
but it's beautiful to look at, and I don't know if the camera will really pick this up, but the paint is just beautiful. It's kind of this pearlescent or opalescent, I guess you would say, whitish blue,
right.
And it's really breathtaking when it's in the sunlight.
It's got a pearlized white paint job on it that, like you said, it has a bluish tint to it when the sun hits it just right.
Did you do that, or did it come that way
It
when you
came
had
that
it?
way when I got it. Everything's the way it was when I got it. I really don't know much about it, except for when I got it, it came with a extra carpet to go inside that was shipped to someplace in Buffalo. So evidently at one time this car was up in Buffalo, New York. Other than that, I don't know much about it. The only reason I bought it was because when I was a kid, I had a Ford wagon that my dad gave me. Somebody shot the back windows out on it, and I took and put wood paneling up over where the windows were. So this was similar to what I had.
Yeah.
And that's what drew my attention to it when I saw it, so I had to have it. Because I lost the wagon back then, I had to have it because it replaced the one that was like what my dad gave me. So.
And the rest is history.
That's it. You know, it's history, you know. Everything's going back to what I had as a kid. So the other feature about it is it's from 67. I was born in 67. Funny thing about it is I was born in June of 67. This car was made in July of 67. So 1 month later than my birth date, so
That's neat.
couldn't get any
You're
closer.
almost twins.
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't get it any closer if I'd have tried.
Now, this isn't the first classic car that you've had, or is it?
No, I've had a bunch of them throughout the years. Can't get over how many I've had. Can't really keep track of them, but I'll probably die with this one.
Now, this one was, I think from talking to you before, it was a little bit of a secret.
Oh, yeah. I tried keeping it a secret, and when I got it home, the wife that I had at the time asked me if it was a neighbor's car. I told her no, it's mine. And she decided, well, she's going to leave because I bought a car instead of giving her the money that I had. And, well, so it's my divorce car. I made a better deal. I got the car instead of her. And if she's looking at this, guess what? I got the better deal.
He seems happy with his decision, so that's all that matters.
Exactly. I'm thinking about getting custom plates that say divorce car.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on Ohio Classics.
You're
Dave
welcome.
Blazer, I really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us today here on Ohio Classics on DMG TV2 on Time Warner Cable.
I think the hands-on aspect is going to give you an opportunity to explore, find out what you're good at, what you like, and you're not going to have mountains of debt. What you're going to have is a marketable skill that even if you don't love it, you can use that to pay to go on to college and get that degree. And we've got a number of students that do that. They're very mature. I think we're a great hands-on exploration base.
Hi, this is Heather, the Garden Girl, and I am so excited to be able to announce to you guys, the viewers, that I have now opened the Garden Girl shop. Well, where are you going to find me at? It's real easy. I'm located at 1881 7 Mile Drive, tucked in behind the Point Cafe. So come visit me Wednesday through Fridays from 10 to 6, Saturdays from 10 to 4, Sundays from 11 to 3. However, if you see the big garage door up, that means I'm here and you are always more than welcome to stop in. Also, don't forget my priority is educating you guys, so stay tuned for all my make and take workshops where you can come in, learn, get your hands dirty, and head home with your very own projects. Can't wait to see you.
Hi there, thanks for joining us today on Ohio Classics on DMG TV2 for Time Warner Cable. I'm your host, Laurel Quillen, and joining me today is Butch Fox and his, I want to say, fleet of cars. We have 4 of them that we're going to talk about today. Why don't you start with the one that's behind us? What kind of car is this?
It's a 1929 Mercedes. It's a kit car, and I love it. It's got a little 4-cylinder in it, and I've had it for about 2 years. Okay.
Okay. And on to car number 2.
Yeah. Okay, I got a 55 Ford here, a little 272 in it. It's got a beautiful color. People love the color on it. It's a 4-door, but it's a nice car. Good mileage.
Did you work on that one at all, or?
Yes, we did a little bit of work here and there. You know, a little tune-up and all that basic stuff.
Okay. And what about car number 3?
Okay, we got a Trans Am here, a 79 Trans Am. It's got a 6.6 liter in it. It's black, it's automatic, and girls just love it. So guys out there, it's for sale. If you like a nice car, come and get it.
Chick magnet for sale.
Yeah.
Now, tell us about the beautiful truck.
Oh, I got a 55 Chevy truck. It's first edition, and I got a Foxy on the side of it. That's my name, Foxy. And it's just a town truck. It's not a show truck. It's something you can get out there and really enjoy. And people like it because they don't see those anymore. Yeah. And I want to tell you folks out there, you people sure have a lot of nice cars. And thank you going to car shows and know there's a lot of people out here appreciate seeing those cars. Thank you.
And it's good to meet people like you because we hear a little bit about the cars and a little bit about you. What got you interested in classic cars? Was it your family or?
My dad, he loved cars, and my grandpa loved cars. And I got a brother down in Powhatan. He trades cars all over the United States. And we're just a car family.
Did you have a particular dream car growing up, something that you thought, boy, one day that's what I'm going to get?
Yes, I'd like to have a Rolls Royce, a white one.
Ooh.
And a blonde with a little black cap. My wife's blonde.
I see. All right. So what year Rolls Royce do you want?
I liked it in the 50s and maybe in the 60s, somewhere around in there, but I haven't got the lottery yet.
Still working on that one.
Still working on it.
What was your first classic car? Have you had others before these?
Oh, yeah, I've had a lot of cars. I had a 1949 Ford. Okay. I paid $45 for it.
Oh, my gosh.
I picked elderberries and strawberries for it. Yeah.
How old were you?
15.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, I got there and got it. And I've had quite a few 47 Ford or Chevys, 50 Chevys. And so I like all cars.
Yeah. Do you do restoration work yourself? Do you just kind of do the tune-ups and have friends help you out with other things?
I wished I had some friends come around.
If you're a mechanic and you're looking for a friend, come see Butch Fox.
The street that just did. Blosser, him and I work on them. We do the motors and stuff. In fact, I got a 327 with a 4-speed transmission coming in. We're going to redo it. You can't get these motors no more. Yeah. And if anybody has a 283 out there, please call me.
Very good. So what does your wife think of your hobby? Does she like cars too, or she just loves you?
She likes riding in them. Yeah, we get along good, real good, yeah.
Does she keep you company in the garage, or does she just sort of let you do your thing?
She lets me do my thing, which is nice, really, really.
Because she's probably busy doing her thing, huh?
Yes, she's retired now. She retired at about 55, so wow.
It's good to retire while you're still young enough to enjoy it.
Yes, it is, yeah. And like I say, I got a 46 Jeep, I forgot to tell you.
Really?
And it's a Willys. And Dave and I are going to put it together. We're going to try to make a rat rod out of it.
Cool.
Oh, you guys got rat rods out there. I really like those too. You guys they're nice.
We can appreciate the creativity that goes into some of those.
Oh, yeah, yes. Them guys are crazy. I mean, just absolutely crazy. They're geniuses how they put those cars together. And I'm sincere about that. Huh, Dave?
Well, Butch Fox, thank you so much for letting us come over and look at your cars. I really appreciate it. And thank you for joining us today on DMG TV2 Time Warner Cable Ohio Classics.
Taking the area by storm, Lightning Signs and Decals specializes in custom signs, banners, and graphics. We are also an authorized distributor for Mossy Oak, Browning, Realtree, and Bone Collector graphics and products, as well as a hunting and fishing license agent. Visit online at lightningsign.com or visit the storefront located at 224 7th Street in New Philadelphia.
Well, I woke up to the sound of silence and cars. We're cutting like knives in a fist fight. And I found you with a tear in your eye, your head in the curtains and heart like the 4th of July.
You swore and said, we are not shining stars. This I know, I never said we are. If you're lost and alone, or you're sinking like a stone, carry on. May your past be the sound of your feet upon the ground. Carry on. Carry on, carry on. We are shining stars. Carry on, carry on. We are who we are.
Hi, thanks for joining us today on Ohio Classics on DMG TV2 for Time Warner Cable. Joining me today is Mark Weidman and his lovely Packard. Tell us about it.
Okay. Well, it's a 1954 Packard. We've had for probably about 13 years. The car originally came from California. It was bought new for a doctor's wife. The wife of a doctor in Carmel, California, and it was chauffeur driven. Of course, a lot of ladies didn't drive at that time, and the car wound up going to the chauffeur. And when the chauffeur passed away, a lady airline pilot from Washington State purchased the car, and then a friend of mine happened to purchase the car after that. He found a Cadillac that he liked, and he couldn't keep both cars, and I'd always liked Packards, and so I bought the automobile from him.
Now, when it came to you, did you do anything to it, or is it pretty much as is?
Just other than just some minor mechanical work, there's stuff that needs done all the time, but just cleaning it up and keeping it, doing what has to be done, the oil changes, and there were some minor electrical problems and so forth. But other than that, it's been very good. It's been a good old girl, as they say.
So it's pretty much all original.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
It is all original. If you look at the car, you'll see all the little dents and scratches and crazing, and they're only new once, really. And I kind of like it that way. There are a couple spots that I'm going to have to do some work to. A little bit of rust, and there was a little bit of patching done at different places that I want to get worked on. But as time and money allow, I'll get to those. So.
I'm sure, as a lot of you understand, with the classic cars, it's that fine line between preservation, doing things that will keep it on the road for years and hopefully decades to come, and keeping it all original. There's
And there seem to be a lot of people like myself that like them, just as they are. I mean, the interior is pretty pristine. There's some wear on the driver's seat, but other than that, the headliner is great. The dash is great. So when I was a kid, I grew up in North Canton, and there were 2 Packards in town at that time. I think like a 40 convertible coupe or convertible and a 1949, and coincidentally they were both yellow. And as a little kid, I thought those were some of the prettiest cars I ever saw. Now, I didn't make up my mind at that time that I'm gonna have a Packard someday, but it just happened that way, that the opportunity presented itself. So
It certainly made an impression on you at a young age.
It did. I knew they were nice automobiles. I mean, Packard was on a par with Lincolns and Cadillacs, and they just couldn't compete after the war, as an independent. The GM and Ford and Chrysler, just had too much going for them, and it was too hard for Packard to keep up. This was the last year, 1954, for the straight 8 engine. In 1955, they went to a V8 engine, which the 55, since it was a major body change and engine change, and they had a lot of problems, and that kind of followed them a little bit. And like the 56s were better cars, but people were still really wary of them. And Packard merged with Studebaker in 1954 when this car was built. And this car was built in Detroit. The 55s and 56s were built there. But 58 was really the last year for a car with a Packard nameplate. And essentially the 57s and 58s just were Studebakers with Packard badging, on them. So.
Is it a challenge for you to find parts for a car like this?
No. It's I had worried about that, but swap meets, and then there are a couple big parts companies that deal exclusively. I shouldn't say they're big. They're they have a niche. But Cantor, and I think they're in New Jersey, and Max Merritt, which is in Indiana. They both have everything that I've ever needed to keep the car on the road. Yeah. There's a man here locally that some folks might know, Bob Gibbs, who has some Packards himself, and a number of classic cars. And Bob happens to work for Nicholson's, and he's a mechanic there, and he's a great help in doing things that I cannot do, which is a lot.
Always helps to have a good support network working with you. Well, Mark Weidman, thank you so much for letting us take a look at your Packard today. It's beautiful, and we hope to see you driving it for decades to come.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Laurel.
And thank you for joining us today on Ohio Classics. I'm Laurel Quillen.
Just wanting to be a police officer, I knew this was a great start, and it turned out to be a fantastic one.
Just be able to actually see what you're doing, what you're working on, and understand how you can take one thing and turn it into something else.
We got to creatively use skills and academics and see how we can place them into our fields.
It was pretty much I had the key to open the door, and that was from Buckeye.
I'm Laurel Quillen. Welcome into Ohio Classics. Thanks for joining us today. And I want to say thank you to my new friend Dan Menifee. Thanks for having us over today.
You're welcome.
Now tell us a little bit about the beauty that's behind us.
It's a 78 MG Midget. It's my toy. I love it.
It's your baby, your toy.
Oh yeah.
Now, how did this come into your life?
A lady in Dover needed a truck, and I ended up trading my truck for it.
Even trade.
Even trade.
And you're happy with that trade.
Oh, I love it.
Hopefully she's happy with her trade too.
Yeah.
But you said you always wanted one of these. What caught your eye about those that you love them?
When I was a little kid, I don't know, it was just a car I seen around that I always wanted. I finally got a hold of one, and I won't let go.
Now, did you love other cars as a kid, cars in general, or was it just that one?
This one always stuck out in my head. You know, I like muscle cars, but gotta have something different from everybody else.
So how did you go about finding this one? It was just chance, or did you seek it out?
By chance. Yeah, she put it. Well, I had my truck on Craigslist, and she called me and asked me if I was interested. So I've had it ever since.
Serendipitous. That's sometimes how wonderful things come into our lives. You never know when that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you said you're the third owner.
Yes, I'm the third owner. The lady I got it from bought it in 1980. Well, with her and her husband, and I got it 3 years ago. So it's been a fun little car.
But you said you haven't done much to it.
No, I put tires on it. That's it.
That's fantastic that you can keep it original like that.
Yeah, I've kept, I keep it in the garage all the time, take care of it as best I can. So.
Now, how is it for you finding parts? Are you able to get those? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny, finding parts. No, you don't just go to AutoZone and get parts.
Right.
Yeah, I had to order parts from Germany for it once. It took me a month and a half to get the parts.
Wow. So do you take it to shows sometimes?
Yeah, I've taken it to a few different shows. I haven't taken it to any this year. I'm hoping to before the season's over. I won't take it out once it starts to snow. The road, it's got to be nice or it don't leave the garage.
Well, being all original like that, you hate to be in the position where you have to start making changes or adding things on. So I can imagine you're a little afraid that something's going to happen to it.
Exactly. Yeah, once it snows, it don't move.
Do you see other cars in your future, or this is the only child?
Only child. And I'm hoping eventually to give it to my grandson, when he turns 18. So.
That's a fantastic legacy, but will you be able to let go of it when that time comes?
For him, yeah.
Yeah.
By then, I'm sure I'll have another toy.
Blood is thicker than motor oil, I guess, in some cases.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate you letting us come on out today. Thanks for having us, and thanks for introducing us to your beautiful Midget.
All right, thank you for coming out.
Yeah. And thanks for joining us today on Ohio Classics. I'm Laurel Quillen. Look for us on Facebook.
Taking the area by storm, Lightning Signs and Decals specializes in custom signs, banners, and graphics. We are also an authorized distributor for Mossy Oak, Browning, Realtree, and Bone Collector graphics and products, as well as a hunting and fishing license agent. Visit online at lightningsign.com or visit the storefront located at 224 7th Street in New Philadelphia.
Hi, this is Heather, the Garden Girl, and I am so excited to be able to announce to you guys, the viewers, that I have now opened the Garden Girl shop. Well, where are you going to find me at? It's real easy. I'm located at 1881 7 Mile Drive, tucked in behind the Point Cafe. So come visit me Wednesday through Fridays from 10 to 6, Saturdays from 10 to 4, Sundays from 11 to 3. However, if you see the big garage door up, that means I'm here and you are always more than welcome to stop in. Also, don't forget my priority is educating you guys, so stay tuned for all my make and take workshops where you can come in, learn, get your hands dirty, and head home with your very own projects. Can't wait to see you.
there. Thanks for joining us today on Ohio Classics. I'm your host, Laurel Quillen, and joining us today is Duke Bixler. Thank you so much for letting us stop by today.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
And tell us about this beautiful truck behind us.
Well, it's an old Divco milk truck, and actually it came from, I think, down in Missouri originally, and when it came into Ohio, it was pretty bad shape, pretty ratty looking. And I took it out to Ray Belknap's body shop. And,
now, when did you get it?
Well, I've had that, I think, about 5 years.
Okay.
And it was about 2 years into building. And it came off the chassis and put it on a Chevy truck chassis and rear end, transmission, everything. The engine, we ended up doing a little bit of engine work to it. It now is about 468 cubic inch, and it's bored out to 454, so it runs pretty good. It's got the transmission, heavy duty R4 transmission on it.
So now it looks, at first appearance, and not knowing much about 30s era cars, I would assume this has been a mint restored, back to factory specs, but it's a little bit of a rat rod under there.
It is a little bit. I mean, the body itself is all original, you know, other than seams filled and all of that. But one of the reasons I was so interested in it because I was born in '39, so it just fits.
Perfect match. Now, do you have trouble finding parts for it? I don't know how easy it is to find parts for vehicles from the 30s.
Well, it's pretty easy with the internet.
Okay.
And in fact, a lot of the parts came from all over the country. It's got Zephyr, a Lincoln Zephyr tail lights in it. The bumpers he picked up, I think, in Cleveland. Some of the parts came from out of state, so it came from all over.
Now, when this truck came to you, were you looking for something for the business, something for yourself? Were you even looking at all, or did it just happen?
It just kind of happened. I was going past. Actually, I bought it from Simpson Heating and Cooling, and when I bought it, I just thought it'd be an interesting project to do. And he'd been thinking about doing something too, but I thought, well, those fit right in with the winery and everything. So, it's been a nice promotional item.
And Wes has enough projects, right?
Yeah, yeah, he does. Yeah, he's got enough going on already.
Well, it is beautiful. Have you always had a love for classic cars?
Well, yeah, in fact, I've always had a love for cars, period. And I like speed. I like my cars, and I've always had some pretty nice ones. In fact, my second car I ever had, I built it pretty much from the ground up also. It was a 50 Mercury convertible. And so, I go back quite a few years.
So how fast does a 39 milk truck go? Or
Never,
do we know?
I really don't know, but it will get there quick.
Really?
Yeah.
Very nice.
And so it's got a little bit of power. I can pull wheelies with it if I wanted to. So it's a lot of fun.
That's fantastic. Well, Duke Bixler, thank you so much for letting us stop by and look at your truck. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Glad to have you.
And thank you so much for joining us today on Ohio Classics.
Well, I woke up to the sound of silence and cars were cutting like knives in a fist fight. And I found you with a tear in your eye, your head in the curtains and heart like the 4th of July.
You swore and said, we are not shining stars. This I know, I never said we are. If you're lost and alone, or you're sinking like a stone, carry on. May your past be the sound of your feet upon the ground. Carry on. Carry on, carry on. We are shining stars. Carry on, carry on. We are who we are.
Thanks for joining us today on Ohio Classics. I'm your host, Laurel Quillen, and joining me today is Jeremy Kidd. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
We snagged him right fresh out of work.
Yes, at the Tuscarawas YMCA.
No time to prepare, but we have some questions about your car. Tell us about it.
It is a 1977 Chevy Nova with a Chevy 350 small block in it.
Now, how did this car come into your life?
When I was a junior in high school, I was working several different jobs, and I knew I was going into the Army, and I saw this sitting at a dealership for pretty cheap, and it was just more or less a body slapped together, so I figured it'd be a good project car for over the years, and so I picked it up and have been working on it since.
Were you looking for a car at that time, or just sort of happened?
Not really, just kind of stumbled upon it and took it.
So as a project car, what did you have to do to it to get it to where she is today?
A lot. A lot. Pretty much from what I could figure, someone had been building it as a project car. It seemed like they ran out of funds and kind of slapped everything together.
We know what that's like. We've had that happen with our project cars, yeah.
So everything pretty much. Like, I found out there was no bushings in the doors because, you know, they wouldn't open, close properly. I found out they never greased the U-joints in the drive shaft. And
So did you fix the doors, or did you go Dukes of Hazzard style?
I fixed the doors. But when they never greased the U-joints, I found out when I was going to a homecoming that my drive shaft fell straight on the road. That was an interesting one.
Dear.
So replaced all that stuff. I've replaced the engine twice now. Just tires, studs, lugs, just pretty much everything except for the main body and the main frame has been replaced.
So how long have you had it? How long have you been working on it now?
This will be around 6 years now.
Now, I won't be so rude as to ask your age, but I have to say we noticed in the realm of classic car owners, usually there are older individuals who appreciate the older cars from their era. What attracted you to older cars? Does it run in your family, or just something that sparked?
Well, I'll tell you guys anyway. I am 23. I'm not camera shy about age here. For me, it was definitely my father is a huge car guy. He owns several Corvettes himself and has always loved the classic cars and all that. So he's kind of gotten me into the classics. But at the same time, like a classic 23-year-old, I am also into tuners, and I have a tuner car as well. So I kind of bridge both sides here, but something about the classics, they're just always fun, can't go wrong.
Best of both worlds. Now, is your dad helpful in knowledge with fixing, giving you tips, things like that?
My dad is very helpful in that aspect, especially while I was away in the Army and everything. I could kind of more or less tell him what to buy me, and so every time I came home on leave, there was a nice stack of boxes of parts for me to put in. Between him and a good friend of ours who's a great mechanic, his name's Jim Bailey, he helps us with all the little need-to-know tech stuff that we don't quite know about. So between those two, it's been pretty easy to put together and maintain.
Very good. Was it hard to be away from your baby while you were off defending our country? Thank you for doing that.
Thank you for the support. And it was a little tough, but I was in El Paso, Texas, and I knew there's no way I wanted to take this thing into the sand and the desert down there. I mean, I put it away for the winter so it doesn't have to face the salt, but that sand would eat away the little bit of a paint job I have left. So didn't want to take it.
Very good. So do you have any interesting stories about the car other than homecoming night, prom night? Oh, goodness. What a horrible surprise.
There was one time when it still had the 308 in it. When I first got it, it had a little 308. Well, I had found out there was a number of issues. It was a vacuum leak, a ground wire connected to my carburetor was loose, and then the carburetor itself had warped. It was an old Holly. Well, between those three, there was trouble starting from the vacuum line, a little bit of a spark from the ground wire, and a little bit of fuel from the carburetor separation. So on our way to school one time, I picked a buddy up. It caught on fire on us 3 different times. It was just little fires, nothing major. We got it out in time. But we came to shirt with came to school with giant holes in our shirts where it had burned through them when we were patting out the fire. And we more or less walked in, told the principal we were skipping for the day, and walked back down to the gas station to fix it.
No, really, it was an engine fire. Really, really.
Yeah. They had a hard time believing us. Conveniently, one of the teachers took a lunch break and came down and found us working on it in the gas station and saw the burn marks.
So do you carry an extinguisher with you now, or you just have a little more confidence that's not going to happen again?
A little more confidence, and I always keep like an extra t-shirt around to pat the fire out with. That way I don't have to burn mine now, pretty much.
Very good. Good planning. Well, thank you so much, Jeremy Kidd, for being with us today and telling us about your Nova. We appreciate having you here.
Thank you for having me again. It's been a pleasure.
And thank you for joining us today on Ohio Classics.